Beloved brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Hope you are all doing well in health and spirits. Congratulations to SIO Delhi for their 2 weeks campaign. Aao phir azme safar taza kare. Let us reaffirm our commitment for struggle. As you all know, we are committed to undertake the greatest task in a Muslim's life, that is to live his or her life according to the divine guidance. As you know, the divine guidance, following the divine guidance has two aspects or two dimensions. One of them is to implement the divine guidance in an individual's life, and the second one is to implement it at the society at large, in the larger society. In this regard, we have certain challenges or certain pitfalls in our way that we have to be careful about. And for this we need to prepare ourselves so that we can face this task The first and foremost challenge for us is to identify our weaknesses and then turn them into our strengths so that we can face this journey in a more better and sustained manner. The greatest pitfall in our way is, as Allah says in Surah Taqabun, وَمَنْ يُوقَ شَحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. He who overcomes the confinement of his baser self will verily succeed. As you all know, our greatest enemy is our own self. The baser desires, the baser instincts that we have in ourselves are the biggest hurdles and challenges for achieving something bigger than us, for achieving something great, for the greater good of society. In this struggle, this is what prevents us from moving forward. In this regard, we need to focus on four things. First of all, we have to purify our hearts. As the hadith says, there is a piece of flesh in the human body, which when it is sound, the whole body is sound, and if it is corrupted, the whole body is corrupted, and that is the heart. The greatest thing that we have to focus upon is that our relationship with Allah and His Messenger is sound. And for this, purity of intention is the first and the most important step. Purity of intentions and affirming our commitment to Allah constantly and constantly being aware of our responsibility to Him, our accountability to Him, that we are bound to obey Him and are answerable to Him on the Day of Judgment. This is the greatest thing that would help us. And of course, going beyond all that, the greatest thing that any believer can aspire for is the pleasure of Allah, Rida Ilahi. So for this we need to constantly work and purify our hearts and constantly be vigilant about it so that corruption doesn't find any way through any door in our hearts. The second thing is sagacity of thinking. We need to constantly expand our knowledge so that when we work, we don't merely blindly execute something, but we comprehend and understand what we need to do in our individual lives, as well as what we need to do in the larger arena of the society. So for this, developing deep knowledge, cultivating a culture of knowledge and understanding and contemplation, whether individually or collectively, so that when we face our challenges, individual or collective, we are able to execute them in a better way. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, in Surah Fatir, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Verily, the people who are most conscious about God are the ones who are more knowledgeable. The third thing that we need to focus upon is consistency in efforts. As the hadith says, a small deed which is done consistently is better than a bigger deed that is done once in a while. Consistency of effort is most necessary. Whether we work with consistency to reform ourselves, to better ourselves, our characters, our intentions, our deeds, or whether we struggle for a reformation of society, consistency is the key in this work. The fourth and final point that we have to focus upon is beneficence of personality. As the hadith says, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَنْفَعُ النَّاسِ. The most better or the good of people are those who are beneficial or beneficent to other people, to humanity at large. Indeed, the defining characteristic among the prophets, whether it's our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or all other prophets, if you read the seerah and their lives, you will find that they were people, even before their nubuwwah, defined as people who did good to society at large. And you can see this in seerah when Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam came back after receiving the first revelation, when al-Mu'mineen Khadija radiallahu anha comforted the Prophet. She enumerated his good deeds, what he did to orphans, to society, to needies, to widow, to needy, and all those things. And that defined him. Similarly, all other Anbiya, if you read their life histories, as mentioned in the Quran, they were people who were noticed and notable in the society for being a source of good for society at large. And indeed, this should be the defining characteristic of a believer, that he or she is a source of beneficence, of benefit to humanity at large. They should be the people who should answer the need of other people, whether it is a spiritual need, whether it's material need, whether it is psychological need, or any other need. We should be people who should strive and do our utmost at all the time that we benefit the society at large. I pray to Allah that He gives us guidance and tawfiq to exert our utmost, to strive our utmost to overcome the challenges, whether of the challenges within ourselves or the challenges in society at large. And I pray to Allah that He give us guidance to successfully face our challenges, individual as well as collective. This is something we should always strive for, and this is what we should always hope for, that we succeed in this life overcoming our challenges and in the hereafter, and that we all achieve Allah's pleasure. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.